Hey everyone, Todd here, internalarchitect.com. I have an update today to really go over just a number of things that have been going on. First off, I have started on blood thinners, specifically Xarelto, as a way to start dissolving a blood clot that was found in a CT scan that I did last week. It was the blood clot, we think it is from irritation from where my port was at. And for those of you that don't know, I had a port, a power port, and it was just under the skin. That's where I did a huge chunk of my treatment, a lot of my blood work, most of my blood work, and just access, simple access, which was absolutely amazing. Instead of being pricked by needles in my arms and hands and everything to do all this work and to have certain treatments, I'm really, really glad that I did that, because that saved a lot of pain and suffering, essentially. And having one spot where I could do all the work that needed to be done as far as blood draws and chemotherapies and immunotherapies and all the different types of treatments that I did, that was the way to go. I would, for those of you that are going to go down that road of cancer, I highly recommend you just do the port. It sucks at first because it's super weird, it's awkward, but at the same time, it's really a great way to deal with all the BS that comes along with all the treatment that you have to go through for cancer. With that said, when we pulled it out, which was in November, so it's been, about 4 or 5 months now, it was, from what the CT scan showed, it didn't have you couldn't tell where it was at, because what it does is it goes into your chest, right? They burrow it under your clavicle or your collarbone, and then it goes into your vein, or I believe it's your vena cava artery, that goes up and down in through your neck and kind of then spreads out through the rest of it. When we pulled it out, didn't know that it was there, this blood clot, and we ended up, like I said, we did this CT scan a week ago. Oh, by the way, it doesn't show any signs of growth or disease growth at this point, so that is the great news of it all. So I feel very, very fortunate and very blessed at the moment that that's where that is. The downside is I have a clot in the same spot. The hard pill to swallow is this clot is just above my heart, so it's in a pretty vulnerable spot, unfortunately. So that is why we have decided to go down this road of blood thinners and try to dissolve this over time. I'm not sure exactly how long I will be on it for, but that is what's going on. Now, I don't know if you saw my last video. I was in Moab, Utah. I was on my way to go to a celebration of life for a friend that passed away from colon cancer. And we... in that video, I ended up talking about time and the importance of time to ourselves, right? Not only myself, but time for yourself. Time. It was a way to kind of reflect on kind of what is important, especially after you go through and survive cancer. And during that trip, I had a lot of window time. So it's from where I live to Salt Lake City, it's about 7 hours of driving. I broke it up, like I said, when I went to Moab, that's about 4 hours. And then it was about 3.5 hours from Moab up to Salt Lake. So it broke the trip up, which was really, really good. And of course, my dog has to bark. She's very vocal, so it's pretty funny. During that trip, I got to really reflect on that that whole thing. I got to see a number of people that I haven't seen in a long time. I got to reconnect with a couple people that I feel very blessed and honored to reconnect with. And with that said, like, you know, I was hesitant originally to go out there because honestly of some selfish reasons. And I'm glad I went out there. I'm glad I put those things aside. But overall, the big lesson for me was coming back to what I said in the last video is how I spend my time. My time is super important in how I want to, one, live, and two, really just enjoy this. At this point, it's almost a third chance at life. I've been through 2 stem cell transplants at this point, and each time has given me another perspective into life and what it means to live, and that time that is spent, how do I maximize it and how do I enjoy it as best as I possibly can? Now, with that said, I wanted to also take this time to explain to you guys a pivot that I'm starting to work on right now with Internal Architect and what it means and how I want to share the information that I've learned through the different types of media outlets. This one is specifically geared towards YouTube and really the discontent that I am feeling with YouTube, because over time as a creator, you want to grow an audience. You want to, try to build a community that can relate to you in a way that other places can't. And since I've started this, I'm just under 400 videos since I've started the channel. And when it comes to time, when it comes to statistics and essentially trying to grow a channel, trying to grow a project that you feel passionate about, especially when that is trying to help as many people as you can, you have to take into consideration where you put your time and your effort. And I'm really feeling like YouTube has failed myself and also other small creators, especially cancer survivors. I'm saying this kind of with a heavy heart because there's a lot of time that I spent putting out this information to you guys just so that you have a way to relate to this, right? And I feel like YouTube, in the direction that it's going in this day and age now, especially where we're at in the world right now, that the only thing that YouTube cares about is the bottom line and its ability to reward its shareholders with its profits that it makes. And for some reason, and actually I can tell you when, it was during 2018 update to their algorithm that really decided to make it hard for cancer survivors to share their story, because at the end of the day, we are considered snake oil salesmen, to put it simply, and they have deemed us not appropriate for their channel. I still wanted to give it a try. I wanted to go through the process of making videos and being able to at least share my story. And that's pretty much what I've done up to this point, especially over the last 2 years, because I really wanted to share with you my experience as I was going through my allogeneic stem cell transplant. And so you could see just the difficulty and the ups and downs that come along with it. At this point, I know that I want to continue creating and I want to continue being able to be of service to people that are struggling with this and struggling with a diagnosis, and especially more towards my male audience, because as I love my female audience, you guys are freaking awesome and I can't appreciate you enough. The male side of it, I feel like we are a bit underserved, and I know that's that's tough, but just by the statistics and by the information that I've been able to gather through it, we're stubborn, and two, we realize that it's hard to accept help. And I think with men, it is something that needs to be addressed. And so that's kind of where a little bit of the pivot is going to go. I'm still going to create content, but I'm going to do it in an area where I feel like I can have more control, because I do feel that YouTube at any moment can just switch me off. And as a creator, that's just unacceptable to me. I will occasionally put some videos out on YouTube just because it's a channel. I still have some stuff. But at the end of the day, it's by far not going to be a place where I'm going to focus my time anymore. Coming back down to that area of time, like, I want to be able to share what is going on in my head and not feel like I'm going to get banned or blocked or censored, since that seems to be kind of the way. And especially in the world of medicine and medical, that's highly likely that could happen, especially with some of the things that are going on in my head. I will say this, that Western medicine has saved my life, but there is a lot of problems with it. And with that said, I'm going to start focusing my time more on writing, because I really enjoy writing. And I'm also going to look at doing more. So you guys know, I did start a podcast. I actually started it a couple years ago. I haven't really put any effort into it, but I did start it because I was really curious of how that was going to unfold and how that works and just the whole 9 yards. And so I'm going to be working towards a new podcast, but it's also going to use some of my audio from my past videos that I have put out on YouTube as well. And that's kind of the deal that I'm going to do, and just kind of work on it that way. Obviously, internalarchitect.com is a place where you can go to read the blog. And then that's the pivot that's going to be happening. And it's going to be really important for me just creatively. And I think it's going to be a better place it's going to put me in a better place to be able to at least share the ideas and share my opinions, and not feel like I got Big Brother looking over my shoulder. That's it in a nutshell. So things are good. Things are crazy. Obviously, the blood clot side of things has been kind of, I don't want to say setback, but it was definitely disheartening. But at the end of the day, it's like I said, my time is super important to me. I want to be able to continue feeling like I'm being creative in the best possible way for you guys and for the audience that I've been able to grow over the last 5 years. So again, thank you all. I love you all for watching, and I will do an update on where things are going, where I will be hosting stuff, and where you can kind of check in and get updates on it and go from there. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate your time and energy, and I will see you on not only the next video, but the new podcast as well. All right. Enjoy, guys. Have a great afternoon.